Welcome to the Dare to Share Challenge. We have got another amazing guest with us today, the beautiful Maylene May.
If you are new here and you're wondering what you've stumbled across, the Dare to Share Challenge is part of a Real and a Raw Leaders movement. It is the place where leaders come to share their story, their truth, their vulnerability, and to get more real and raw with you than they ever have before. Why? So that you see the human behind the perception, so that you realize all of these leaders, all of these women, all of these people that you look up to, they're experiencing exactly the same things as you are behind the scenes. And now it's time for them to share that, to show that, and for you to know that. So Maylene, welcome to the Dare to Share Challenge.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. I've watched you from the day you launched this, and it blew up. I remember sharing your link with everyone. I was like, girls, to all the coaches and business owners, I'm like, you are a real and raw leader. You need to get in on this. So I'm very excited to be here.
I'm grateful for you as well. I'm sure you're responsible for a lot of those slots in the OG series.
I think everyone just adores you and this movement that you have, which is incredible because so much has changed since 2020. Like, if we just think about how we went from not working at home, everyone working, to online, to the things that have changed online, to there was a stage where we were all like, okay, this is the way to show up, to have the right aesthetic and to have it be pretty and pink or beige or white and cream. I mean, I love white roses, so yes. And then the day you launched your Dare to Share with I remember your video where you wrote with yourself over lipstick, and I thought that's amazing. And then I thought, how did she get it off her body? Like, because red lipstick is hard to remove, right?
There were imprints there for a few days.
Because red lipstick is absolutely hard to remove. If anybody's ever had red lipstick, it's quite hard to remove. So yeah. So
oh my gosh.
Thank you.
Thank you, Millie. Well, I was going to ask you before we dived in, what made you want to come on to the Dare to Share Challenge? But I think you've kind of just answered that. But is there anything else that you want to add?
I think that the movement that you're building is incredible. And movements start small, but as they grow, more and more people will watch it. So I know everybody will come back to watch like certain stories or your YouTube because it'll live on forever. And so the movement you're starting is incredible. And I think there are so many people. I just watched your live. So if anybody didn't, it was about the question you get about showing up authentically and sharing like what you're going through now. And it's a struggle, even for me. It's a struggle because before we hopped on, I told you like my granny passed away. It was the memorial, and it's not something I've shared on Instagram. But listening to your story, I was like, other people experience that. People now have been through a lot of grief. So yeah, I think I just love your movement. And I think that showing up and being as real and raw as you have been, you've just led the way for so many others to go, I can do it.
Yeah, absolutely. You've hit the nail on the head. That's the heart and the soul of the movement. It's just about really showing what we're all experiencing and we're all feeling and we're all having behind the scenes. It's just now letting that be okay to say and to show. And so, yeah, I feel that. Thank you so much for sharing that with me. So, Maylene, let's dive right in. Now, before the big questions, we have to find out which level of vulnerability that you're going to opt for. So for you guys watching, Maylene has two choices. We have the stretchy level of vulnerability because nothing is comfortable here, right? Let's be clear about that. It's all stretchy. But the stretchy level is part of your hero's journey, part of your story, maybe that you don't talk about so much, maybe that is lesser known, and it's just not something that has come to light for whatever reason. Or we have the extreme level. And this is something that you're experiencing, that you're navigating, that you're feeling in real time right now. Which level would you like to opt for today, Maylene?
We are opting for extreme.
We're going
like full in extreme.
We're going in. We are going in. I love this level of vulnerability because for me, I mean, this is where the movement all began, in the real time shares. And this is just so powerful for all of you watching to really feel that I'm not alone. I'm not alone. There are other people experiencing the same thing as me, and look, they're still showing up. They're still going after their dreams. So if they can do it, I can do it too. So, Maylene, we have 2 questions for you today. The first one is, what does being a real and a raw leader mean to you? And we're not just talking about business, right? We're talking about the human, the person, the woman that is Maylene in your everyday life, that realness and that rawness. How does that look to you in your world?
Very good question. You don't think of it. You show up normally, and then when you show up in business, you're like, I have to be this business person, and I have to step out of my comfort zone. So I have to do lives. I have to do everything else. And in your daily life, how do we show up? Well, I think it really begins with being the person who you are offline and online. Mm-hmm. And that is actually really hard, because if you've started in the online space, you have been conditioned by so many others, even if you don't know it. Like, you look at certain people and you're like, I can only speak about business because business coaches only speak about that. Or I can only speak about certain things and how I show up. And then you realize, wait a minute, I am an online coach. I am an online business person. So when I go to the mall, or when I sit down at a restaurant and I feel like my waitress is having a bad day, to stop and be like, oh, you're having a bad day. Like, honestly, speak to me. Because you are so embodied in what you do that it shows up in your real life. You're like, this is genuinely who I am. Like, speaking to the waiters, speaking to people and being like, for the longest time, I don't know if you had this, Claire, even in my corporate job, I couldn't say what I did or what my title was, because I always felt like it's just not good enough.
Yeah.
It's not good enough. I could say I'm a coach and people go like, well, what is a coach? And then you have to compare yourself and go, well, you know what Tony Robbins does? And they go, that's what you're doing? Like, so then you start going, I don't know how to talk about myself. I don't know how to be myself. So, and I think that's where the embodiment starts to show up when you shop online, is the everyday, I'm going to the mall and I'm going to shop as myself wherever I go, everywhere.
Oh, I love that, because how many of us live our daily life completely differently to how we show up online, and not trying to be, intentionally, what's the word I'm looking for?
Like hiding.
Yeah, like we're not trying to intentionally do that, but we almost sometimes feel safer online than in real life, which is ironic because a lot of people feel that the other way around as well, but it can be so true. You put in a room with real people and you're like, what do I do? How do I talk to these humans? Because for so long during COVID and after, that's not been our normal way of being in business anymore, or even of living.
And it's something I say a lot when I speak to people is, the reason you don't want to show up is because the people closest to you don't know who you are anymore. And so you're too scared to say to your own family, I mean, I get this. My brother has taken screenshots of things I've posted and been like, what are you posting about? What is this? Like, why are you sharing personal information? Because I grew up in a family where everything's a secret. Yes. And I have 2 moms and everyone's like, and I know my sister said this to me, she's like, you're welcome to post what you want, but don't let me be involved. Don't mention me. Don't mention stories. And I'm like, but we are a family. We did go through the same things. I do have 2 mothers. There are 2 different cultures. Like, this is who I am. And that's what's taken me so long to be where you are, where you're like, you know what, dare to share. And I posted the other day, I said to my family, I'm like, anything you send to me can become content. I'm just letting you know, share anything you want, take screenshots of everything you want. I'm going to post it on stories now, because it's who I am and I can't keep hiding because you don't want me to.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. And the more that you step into that, the more everyone watching you feels that permission slip as well. Okay, this is beautiful. Let's go into the main question, because I feel we're going to just talk forever otherwise. So, Maylene, with that being said, let's move in to what you guys are here for. Now, I'm about to ask Maylene what she's willing to dare to share with us all today. And I want you to know that I never tell any of the speakers, any of the guests coming onto this show, what they should share, what it has to do with. All I ask them is that they make it a bit stretchy for themselves, that they get a little bit uncomfortable so that they lead the way. They go first and they show you that it's okay to do that. So with that being said, Maylene, what are you willing to dare to share with us all today?
That's a great question as well. Anybody who gets asked this by Claire, even when you prepare yourself before you go live, your heart's going to skip a beat when she asks you the question, because you're like, I'm actually going to say all of this live. They will be around forever. So for me, I have two moms. One is Chinese, one is British. And me and my sister were abused when we were little, like little children. And we grew up in a home, and then we went to like an orphanage, and then my dad took us over. And back in the day, like way back in the day, everything was frowned upon. Having children outside the marriage, having a second wife, and my grandfather had 3 wives. So there is so much shame in just the family I grew up in, where everything's a secret, where I don't look Asian. My brothers look very Asian, and we'd go to like aunts and uncles, and you'd be told, no, you are the sister. And people would be like, but why do you look different? And I'm like, I don't know. I just know this is like, what do you mean I look different? I don't look different. So that's like, the abuse is something I've never spoken about, because here's the other thing: when you come online to everybody who's daring to share, is you go, do I share the story I've been through because people who looked after me didn't? And how does that make them feel? Because for the longest time, people are like, share your story. And I'm like, but how does the family feel? And how does my mom feel? And what about their shame? And what about them? And then you go, but it's holding me back, because you can't connect with people online without going, I did come from an abusive childhood. I was raised in 2 different religions and cultures, and it's very hard to navigate that. And then it's hard to go to schools where people are always like, and here's something I haven't shared with anybody. I used to sit on the school playground by myself. And I knew from a young age, and this is why I've studied so hard, I have like 2 degrees, many diplomas, is because I sat looking at everyone else and I said, all the other girls are beautiful except me. So if I can't be beautiful and no one wants to talk to me, I have to be smart. So I'm going to be smart. I'm going to work so hard to be so smart, which I've done, like theory studying I can do, but showing up online the way you're leading the way for the rest of us is hard, because I still sometimes feel like that little girl who's like not pretty. I'm like, I'm a little too chubby to show up. My hair's a little too thin to show up. I can't show up on my lives today because I didn't do my makeup. So there's still that part of me where I know I can speak to anybody, and I know I'm like every girl's hype girl because I love all women. Like, I want everyone to succeed. But then there's a very big part of me where I'm like, I'm just not pretty enough for everyone else. And that's why I won't make sales. And that's why people won't talk to me. And it's that inner work that you have to do. So there's so much you are bringing out in this live that I'm like, wow, actually that memory led to that memory. So
yeah. And there's so much that you've unpacked there, Maylene, and I really want to talk to you and also everyone watching, because I experienced that too. I was bullied so much for my teeth, especially, my neck. I have a long neck, like apparently that's a thing. Like, but kids can be so cruel, and it can really impact you for the rest of your life if you don't do the healing work, if you don't do the inner work. And I don't know whether that ever goes away. I show up, but I still have those moments. At the moment, I'm getting a lot of grey hair, right? A lot of grey hair. There you go. Look, you can all see it. It's there. I kid you not, every day at the moment, I'm having to do so much mirror work to remind myself that it's okay and that it doesn't define me. And so I really want to resonate with you, Maylene, and also you guys watching, that this is all superficial because it's all going to go. It's all going to go. We're all going to age. We're all going to grow and change. And, you know, our looks will change as we grow. And whatever that age is for you, it doesn't matter really, whether you're a teenager in your midlife or later life, at some point we have to have enough self-worth to know that we are worthy of taking up space. We are worthy of making the impact that we want to make in the world and having a right to do that regardless of what anyone else thinks, because your soul is here for a reason. It came into your body for a reason, and knowing that that is enough is just what's coming through for me from what you've said, Maylene. And I truly feel you, and I think this is something that so many people watching will resonate with as well. I want to ask you quickly on the back end of that, how are you navigating that now? Are there things that you're doing in your life behind the scenes to help you move past that? Or what does it look like for you as you're now aware? Obviously, I can tell you've got the awareness. So what's your next step?
I have to just go back to something you said, is how you said every day you're doing the mirror work. And I thought you do it at a certain point and it ends, because I did the Tony Robbins work, and he's incredible. Because when I was going through like my worst period and I found his book, I was like, I'm going to grow up and there's going to be more, right? And when I finished, I was like, I'm going to retire at 30. And then I had the perfect career, perfect job, my own side hustle. I've always had a side hustle. And I did the work. Every morning I went to yoga. I became a yoga teacher because I loved it so much. And I journaled and I did the meditations. And at one point I thought, that's it. I've made it. Like, I'm happy. And then my sister passed away and my whole life fell apart. And I was like, I don't know who I am without my sister. So then the work changed. And it's what you said, it's the mirror work every day. And I promise you, people are going to be watching this going, this is not what I want to hear. I don't want to hear that you succeed in getting to a point in your career and you're like, I've made it, I can retire. And then something shifts and then you go, oh no, I have to deal with being alone. I have to deal with being abandoned. Didn't I just deal with being abandoned by my mom? Now I'm doing abandonment again. So it is everyday journaling. I do tapping. I love tapping. I love yoga. I love meditating. And when I don't meditate, like every now and then a praying mantis will land up on my window and I'm like, this is why I'm angry. This is why things are not working. It's time to meditate. And so many people, and I'm sure you can resonate, and everybody watching this, they're going to go, this is really not the answer. Because for me, for so long, I was like, I don't want to be meditating anymore. And I'm really tired of journaling. And I just want to get to the next level. And I'm tired of being in the situation. So the truth is there's work every day. Like there's no
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. That is exactly right. There is work every day. This is life. This is the journey. This is the process. It's learning to embrace that and to stop resisting it and actually enjoy it, because every day we're wishing away our lives, right? Wishing for the next milestone, wishing for the next goal, wishing for the next season that we're in, and we're missing life as we do that, because now is the life that we have. And so, Maylene, this is such a powerful, beautiful share. I feel like you've touched on so many vulnerable things and so much goodness in here. Can you please tell everyone where they can find you, the incredible work that you do in the world, so that they can jump straight off of YouTube and come over into your orbit?
Amazing. So there's so much happening in my world right now. You can find me on my Instagram, Maylene_May_. At the moment, and Claire knows this, I've been working on 2 different Instagrams at the moment, because I don't think Claire realizes how much she's like inspired people to change. Because I know I've gotten DMs from people I've shared your stuff with, and they're like, I want to go live, but do you think Claire will be upset if I also go live with people? I'm like, no, Claire wouldn't. Like, I know you've been live with Claire, but she wouldn't, because she believes in what she does and you embody it. And so I know you've changed so many lives just doing this. So to speak about myself, I feel actually quite guilty right now because there's so much you need to share. But I want to say that that is something I really admire, like this whole thing you've done, because I know I've gotten DMs from a lot of people going, oh, you're going live with Claire. I've also asked Claire if I can go live with her, and I think it's amazing. And others are like, I want to go live, but will Claire judge me? And I think there are women out there going, Claire started this movement. If I go live every day, will Claire judge me? And I think people need to know that you won't.
Yes.
That's the ripple effect. That's why I did it, because a movement isn't about me. It's about the collective. It's so all of you watching, if you ever think that, this movement is bigger than me. And I see so many of you talking about real and raw leadership now, about how you're stepping more into your human, more into your vulnerability. And I'm like cheering you on, gals. So let's just be clear on that.
I'm so glad you said that, because a lot of the time we go, I want to use this color scheme, or I want to use this picture and I want to go live. But a lot of people, since you started going live, have been like, I want to interview people, I want to go live, but I'm going to do it secretly. And I can resonate with that because I've been there. And I'm like, I'm sure if you message her, she'll be like, it's cool and it's fine because we all support everybody, right? We're all on different journeys. So I'm so glad you said that. Everyone can find me on Maylene_May_. I'm pretty much always on Instagram. And that's where I am for now until more changes. Like we discussed before, there's so many things happening and so many changes, and I feel like I'm moving into the next level of me. Like, I don't know how you felt when you created this, but you're like, there's a spark, there's an idea. I just can't put it into words right now.
Yeah.
I can see it. I just can't put it into a word. You know?
I love that. Yeah. And it's just
Following that momentum, following that desire, and it will unfold in front of you. Maylene, you are such an incredible, incredible leader. I love your vulnerability, your courage, your bravery that you've shared with us today. Thank you so much for showcasing your own real and raw leadership and showing everyone that it's okay to experience these things behind the scenes. And if you can do it, you can do it too. So thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for this platform and for you.
You're most welcome. And for all of you, I will see you tomorrow for the next Dare to Share.